Hi, today I want to talk about a problem I see way too much of. The call goes something like this. I get a call and somebody says, my partner has taken me off the bank account and I can't get him on the phone and I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm cut out of my own business. How is this even possible? Well, I'll tell you, it is possible. It is legal. It may not be the right thing to do. It may not be ethical, but it is legal. And I'm going to tell you why it's legal and how to prevent it and make it so that it's not legal for your partner to take you off the business account. So, to avoid this problem, I want you to pay close attention to what I say. And if you don't know how your account's set up, find out and correct it. All right, so let's get started. Let's say we're starting a business, you and I, and we're very busy. And we need to get the bank account opened, and you say, well, I'll go down to the bank and get our account set up, and you go down the city and check our permit and make sure that we're going to get the building permit issued so we can get the building built. All right, great. I take off for the city, you go down to the bank. Later we meet up and I tell you, good news, the permit's gone through and they'll start construction on our office tomorrow, and you say, good news, the bank account's all set up. They need you to go down and sign a card to make sure that you're on the account. Okay, great. I don't give it another thought. 2 years from now, you and I get in a big hairy fight, and I find out that I've been taken off the bank account. I go down to, like, maybe take out some money to pay a bill or something, and I find out that I'm no longer on the account. I've been cut out. How is this possible? Well, there are two ways that a business bank account can be set up. Of course, a number of ways, but two ways in general. One is a joint account. The other is to have one of the parties as a signatory on the account. Now, this is common when they get, a business starts to grow and they get a little bigger. You might add the bookkeeper to the account so that she can pay the bills and write checks for the business, or take care of, a vendor comes in and says, hey, we're making a delivery, we need $25, so she doesn't have to run around and get signatures. You make her a signatory on the account. So if your partner opened the account and said, oh, I want to put my partner's name on, then they put your name on the account. You go down, fill out the card so they can verify the signature. Now you're on the account. And if you were to ask your partner, did you put me on the account? The answer would be yes, you're on the account. But it's not a joint account. So you don't own that account, you're just on it as a signatory. Now the person that set it up, your partner, can just as easily remove you. And that's how this situation happens. That's how people say, well, how is it possible that I can get removed from the bank account of my own business? Well, that's how. If somebody opened it as an account in the name of the business with their name as the principal, you're just a signatory, meaning you can sign on the account and they have the card on file, but that can be taken off by the person that owns the account. So you want to make sure you have a joint bank account. All right. Now, the way that has to happen normally is both people need to go down to the bank at the same time and open the account. You can't just have somebody go open the account and they say, well, it's fully open and you need to go sign the card. That's not a joint account. Okay? If they say that I've done all the paperwork and the account's ready to go, but you need to go down there before they can open it, that's a joint account. If the account gets open and you're not there, that isn't a joint account. They can't open a joint account until both people have come in, verified identity, and signed the appropriate card, right? So you have to actually do it before the account gets open. If you're signing anything after the account's open, it's not a joint account, because they can't open the account until both people have signed off, because one person could go spend all the money and you'd be liable. Okay? So when you're setting up the bank account in a new partnership, you want to make sure both people go to the bank at the same time and open a joint account. If your account's already set up and you're not sure how this is arranged, you probably think, well, of course, my partner wouldn't do anything to me like that. If they went there and set it up by themselves, it can be perfectly innocent, but it's not a joint account. You are a signatory on the account, but if that account got open before you went to the bank, right? If the account got open, they say, we need you to go fill out the card, put your signature on file. That's not a joint account. The account can't get open until they have all the information from all the parties who are going to be part of this joint account situation, okay? So if you don't know, you want to talk to your bank and find out whose name the account's in, not just who's on the account. Now, see, this is a kind of a weird thing, because if you don't ask it right, the typical teller isn't really going to think much of it. So if you call the bank and say, am I on the account? They're going to say, yeah, you're on the account. Then you're going to think, okay, everything's fine. But you're just on the account. You're a signatory. It's not a joint account. You're not responsible for that account, and you don't have control over that account. In other words, you can't have the power to go down and close it. Okay? Your partner does. So you want to find out if it's a joint account or if you're just a signatory, and the way to find that out is to say, is this a joint account, and who are the parties to this joint account? It should be just you and your partner. You don't want your bookkeeper or your secretary to be part of the joint account, because not only can they drain the account, they could overdraft the account, and you could be responsible for it. Okay? As a joint account, you have the power to do whatever as one of the joint account holders. So you want to make sure that you have a joint account. So let me just make sure this is really clear. If you're in a partnership already, maybe you've been in a partnership for 3 or 4 years, you're watching this because something got a little shady in your relationship. People start searching for partnership problems and help, and they find me, which is great because I can help with these situations. If you have any question about that, you want to call the bank and find out if it's a joint account, or if you're just on the account, or maybe you open the account and your partner is just a signatory and not part of the joint account. So in a partnership, ideally you want a joint account. I say ideally, I think you should have a joint account. If you're already having problems, you might want to get some advice before you start making changes. But you want to find out whether it's a joint account or not. This is super critical. All right? So when you see these stories where my partner cut me out of the account, they went to the bank, they had me frozen out, is that legal? And you see all the advice people say, get a lawyer, sue them, and all that stuff. You're probably going to need a lawyer because you've got a serious problem if your partner does that to you. However, if it's not a joint account, it's perfectly legal for the bank to freeze you out, and it's perfectly legal for your partner to freeze you out. Now, legal and right are two different things. You're breaking some ethics rules. There may be some fiduciary rules that are broken. There's some issues around that, obviously. However, it's perfectly legal to freeze you out of that bank account. So it's super critical, important that that be a joint account so that you can't freeze him out and he can't freeze you out. So make sure you've got a joint account. If you have any questions about this, give me a call. It's what I do. I fix business partnerships. And this issue is a common one, and it's a tough one. Once this starts and people start freezing each other out and changing the locks and doing those things, you got a serious problem, and that's got to be addressed before it gets so bad that you end up in court with lawyers and a lot of expense. Okay? So that's my advice for the day. If you have any questions, give me a call. Number is below. And visit my website, TeachU, T-E-A-C-H, and the letter U.com. And drop me a line. I'd be happy to help you any way I can. All relationships start with the free conversation. Not a sales pitch, but actual free advice. So if you have any problems with your partner in banking, give me a call. Thanks.